There was a morning, not too long ago, when I woke up with an ache in my chest. This wasn't a physical pain but something deeper, a gnawing sorrow over a decision I'd made decades ago. Have you ever felt that kind of ache, a regret so persistent it sneaks into your dreams and greets you the moment you open your eyes? For me, it had been simmering since I turned down a major life opportunity in my 40s, thinking I had all the time in the world. Now, at 75, I realized I'd been dragging this regret like a shadow, coloring my days with a dull sense of what if. Maybe you, too, carry an old wound, something you wish you'd said or done differently, or a path you wish you'd taken. If so, you're not alone. It took me 75 years to discover that regrets don't have to define our final chapters. Over the next 15 minutes, let me share 5 steps that gradually help me find peace with my past, transform lingering if-onlys into lessons, and free my future from the weight of unchangeable yesterdays. Before we dive in, gently place a hand on your heart and whisper, "I can release what burdens me." Because you can, and we'll walk through how. Many older adults, myself included, wrestle with regrets, missed family moments, unpursued dreams, unresolved apologies. According to some studies, regrets are among the top reported sources of distress in our golden years. We look back, seeing the holes in our life story, wishing we could patch them. But piling on shame or wishing we could magically reverse time often leads to greater sadness, even depression. Have you ever caught yourself thinking, if only I'd spent more time with the kids, or if only I'd saved more money, or if only I hadn't let that argument define our relationship? These regrets can overshadow the joys we still have left. The good news is that acknowledging and addressing them can actually lighten our spirit, open new doors, and spur real growth, even at 70, 80, or beyond. After all, regrets are signposts of our unfulfilled hopes, not sentences to remain stuck in the past. Let's explore how to reclaim our power from these haunting memories. Step 1 is deceptively simple: name your regrets. Many of us try to bury them beneath daily routines, telling ourselves it's too painful or pointless to revisit old wounds. But ignoring regrets doesn't erase them, it merely buries them, where they quietly shape our moods and outlook. I found that writing mine down in a plain notebook, without judging or sugarcoating, was liberating. I listed everything that pricked at my heart, from major life decisions to small but nagging mistakes. When I saw them all in black and white, I realized some regrets loomed far bigger in my mind than they deserved. Others, though, I drastically underestimated, never giving them the validation they required. Simply labeling a regret, "I regret not accepting that job out of fear," or "I regret cutting off my friend without explanation," helps us see it objectively. You might do this by journaling, talking aloud to yourself, or telling a trusted friend, "I need to get something off my chest." Sometimes, the heaviest regrets begin to lighten once we dare to speak or write them out. Take a moment, think of one regret you keep brushing aside. Could you name it, maybe even in a whisper? That act alone can be step 1 toward releasing its grip. Once we pinpoint our regrets, the next step is to explore the context that shaped them. We often look back with the benefit of hindsight, forgetting what we actually knew, felt, or faced at the time. Maybe you married young because of cultural or family pressures, or turned down a risky career move because you had dependents to support. Maybe you argued with a sibling because your stress levels were sky-high from caregiving or financial woes. We're all products of the knowledge, resources, and emotional states we had back then. Recognizing this doesn't excuse any hurt we caused ourselves or others, but it does help us build compassion for the person we were. For me, I realized that the job I declined wasn't just out of fear, it was because my mother was sick, and I needed to be close by. While I still wonder what might have happened if I'd taken the position, acknowledging the conditions I faced lessened my self-blame. Ask yourself, if you revisit a major regret, can you recall the circumstances, money constraints, health issues, or emotional burdens, that influenced your choice? Whisper, "I did what I thought was best at the time." Understanding your own context helps you shift from harsh self-judgment to gentle self-awareness. Not all regrets can be undone, but some can be softened by a later effort. If a regret revolves around a relationship, a friend you lost touch with, a harsh argument that never received closure, it may still be possible to extend an apology or a friendly olive branch. Yes, it might feel awkward. You might fear rejection. But an honest letter or a phone call can bring surprising relief, even if the outcome isn't perfect. My neighbor Lily once wrote a heartfelt message to her estranged sister after 20 years. While they didn't become close buddies overnight, they broke the silence, and Lily felt a tremendous weight lift off her heart. For regrets tied to missed opportunities, like never learning an instrument, traveling, or starting a hobby, why not begin now? True, you may not achieve the same scope you could have decades ago, but each step can reclaim a piece of that unfulfilled dream. I know a 78-year-old man who always regretted never learning to paint. He finally enrolled in a local community art class. It didn't erase the lost years, but it gave him a daily spark of joy he never thought he'd have. Pause and reflect, is there a phone call, letter, or small action that might ease a specific regret? Even if late, it could still bloom into healing you never imagined. Let me share Dorothy's story. Dorothy is 80 and spent decades regretting never reconciling with her father before he passed. They'd argued fiercely when she was young, and pride kept them apart. That regret haunted her, making her doubt her worth in other relationships. But recently, Dorothy decided she wouldn't let guilt overshadow her remaining years. She joined a local senior grief and regret group, where people shared unfinished business with loved ones. Through sessions, she recognized she couldn't bring her father back, but she could write him a letter posthumously, expressing sorrow and love. She also vowed to be more open with her own adult children, never letting pride stand in the way of an honest conversation. Dorothy now says she still feels pangs, but no longer that paralyzing shame. Her letter, read aloud in the group, helped her release tears she'd held for decades. She also called her daughter after a small disagreement, mending it that same evening. Dorothy jokes, "I can't fix the past, but I can keep the same mistake from happening twice." Her story shows that even regrets involving those who've passed on can be addressed symbolically, and that new regrets can be prevented by changed behavior. The fourth step is learning to reinterpret regrets not as failures but as lessons. How can we harness them to inform better choices today? For instance, if you regret working so much that you missed family milestones, see that as a lesson to prioritize time with loved ones now. Make a phone call to a grandchild, plan a weekly lunch with a friend. If you regret not pursuing a certain skill or passion, use that to fuel your current pursuits, maybe enroll in a beginner's class or watch tutorials online. I realized that my regret over not traveling enough when I was younger could either remain a source of bitterness or become motivation to explore what I can do now. It might not be a grand European tour, but short trips, local tours, or simply reading about different cultures keeps my mind and soul curious. Think of regrets as guideposts, each one can point you to a value you may have neglected. Whisper, "I value this now, so I'll act on it today." That perspective shift turned my regrets from emotional baggage into gentle reminders of what matters. We can't rewrite yesterday, but we can let yesterday's regrets rewrite how we approach tomorrow, with deeper wisdom and gratitude. All these steps culminate in one crucial act, forgiving yourself. Without self-forgiveness, regrets remain locked in place. It's tempting to say, "I should have known better," or "I can't excuse what I did." But forgiveness isn't about excusing, it's about acknowledging human imperfection and allowing compassion to dissolve the chains of guilt. Recall the context we explored in key number 2. You did your best under those circumstances. If you hurt someone, you can try key number 3 to make amends. If the person is gone or uninterested, you still can choose to release self-punishment. Likewise, focus forward. Life still offers opportunities for joy, connection, and kindness. Maybe you decide that for the rest of your life, you'll express love more openly, seize small adventures, or help others avoid your mistakes. That forward focus prevents you from slipping back into regret's loop. Whisper to yourself, "I forgive the me who didn't know better. I accept the me who wants to do better now." Like a gentle sunrise after a long night, self-forgiveness illuminates the path ahead. Let's recap the 5 steps that took me 75 years to learn. Acknowledge and name your regrets. Seek understanding and context. Make amends or take late action. Shift perspective, see regrets as lessons. Embrace self-forgiveness and forward focus. Each step gradually freed me from the quiet heaviness I carried for decades. It wasn't instant, some regrets needed multiple revisits, tears, and conversations. But little by little, the sting dulled, replaced by insight, tenderness, and a sense of release. Now, I'd like you to reflect, which regret weighs on you the most, and which step might you start with this week? Maybe you'll write a letter to someone you never properly apologized to, or maybe you'll enroll in that art class you always wished you had taken. Take a moment, think about that. If you hear a soft voice inside saying, "What if?" turn it into, "Why not now?" That shift could be the gateway to a more peaceful life. Remember, I'm sharing personal experiences and insights as a fellow senior, not as a professional counselor. If your regrets are tied to deep trauma or if you feel overwhelmed by guilt, consider seeking a therapist or spiritual advisor. We all deserve support in healing from heavy emotional burdens. That said, I hope this video reminds you that regrets don't have to overshadow your remaining years. You can glean wisdom from them, correct course where possible, and let self-forgiveness open your heart. It's never too late, whether you're 65, 75, or 85, to transform regrets into a compassionate outlook for the future. Thank you for spending these 15 minutes with me. If this has helped ease your mind or sparked a resolve to address a lingering regret, please tap that like button, subscribe to stay connected, and share with someone else who might be quietly wrestling with their own if-onlys. Let's keep guiding each other toward a life free from regret's weight, one step at a time. Remember, we can't rewrite yesterday, but we can absolutely shape tomorrow.